Hello guys, today I decided to paint two books, The Reluctant Fundamentalist and the Things They Carried. In this painting, I used watercolor paint to paint about Changez and Tim O'Brien. I related these characters because they have the same internal conflict throughout the novel. What is my purpose and what is my true identity? The first box with the fire represents the Greek illusion of the underworld. I compared the underworld to Tim O'Brien being in Vietnam because people in the underworld are described as having no sense of purpose and no hope of escaping the underworld. This can relate to O'Brien's internal conflict of what am I fighting for and what is my identity? Because throughout the novel, O'Brien feels like this war is pointless and inescapable. Above O'Brien's head, I painted the Oceanus River, which separates the mortal world from the underworld. I painted this to illustrate his conflict in the chapter of the Rainy River and throughout the story when he has to make a choice to flee from the war and be a coward and fight, or fight in the war to avoid embarrassment. But at what cost? But at the cost of being in Vietnam or the underworld, which causes O'Brien to hate his identity as being a soldier. I painted O'Brien's character gray and black because it represents his internal conflict. He constantly asks himself throughout the book if his decision was correct, and if he must make a choice to escape to the border or finally be free from this hell in Vietnam. Or possibly him not understanding his role in America in the war and as a soldier. In the second painting with O'Brien in the ocean, I chose to paint an imaginary scene of O'Brien in the Oceanus River, which again separates the underworld from the living world. So I asked myself, what would happen if he did flee to Canada? Would he still be trapped in his internal conflict of what his identity is, even though he escaped going to Vietnam to the Oceanus River? This river can represent chaos and mystery, which can show O'Brien's conflict with his identity as chaotic and mysterious. Through the novel, which can represent how O'Brien is trapped and is shamed and still continue to not know his purpose in the world. Even though he escapes the underworld, he is still lost. And the other two paintings are about Changez, and these two paintings, I decided to compare them to a Greek goddess named Dionysus. He's a Greek goddess who represents foreignness, and his father is Zeus, and his mother's name is Semele. Zeus's wife Rhea was jealous of this affair and the son that Zeus had. So Zeus sent Dionysus to Earth to teach mortals about art and winemaking, and he ended up making many friends on Earth. And Zeus tries to convince Dionysus to return to Olympus with them, but he refuses until his wife Hera tries to kill Dionysus with the 12 Titans, which ends up leaving Greece almost destroyed. Zeus returns Dionysus to rule with them in Olympus, and Dionysus feels safe because he is in his homeland. The picture with the purple frame can represent Changez when he first arrives in America and how he helps and works for Underwood Samson, like how Dionysus taught the mortals of art and winemaking. And at first, America accepts Changez, like how the mortals did for Dionysus. The green painting represents after 9/11, how people viewed him and how they didn't accept him, which can compare on how the mortals viewed Dionysus after Greece was almost destroyed because of him. Juan Bautista can represent how Zeus saved Dionysus. Juan Bautista saved Changez from people who didn't accept him. But this painting but this painting in Greek illusion points out Changez's internal conflict of what his identity is and what his purpose is in the world. Through the novel, Changez deals with this question of what am I being reluctant to and what is my purpose, which foils out this similar relationship with Changez and Tim O'Brien. And they have like this lost of identity.